Na 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 na. A mother is crying, yeah. A father is bawling too.
Good evening. I'm your host, Dr. Peter K. St. Jean. I want to say good evening to the usual host of this show, Dr. Georgie Smith, that I'm sitting in for. You know, Dr. Smith sometimes is not available. Myself, Dr. Neil Knox, or Dr. Mashana Smith, or others sometimes co-host or host for him. And this is one of those nights. And also, I will be here next week. We'll be talking to a mental health health professional, perhaps a pediatrician, about children. But tonight, we are talking about listening to your children. I want to say hi to some of the persons I know who are listening to us tonight, and we'll say some special hello to you. But I want to go about and soon introduce our guests. Our guest is an expert in parenting, not an expert at giving parenting, an expert actually in receiving parenting. And oftentimes we forget that children are very important parts of families. Sometimes we act as if children are those to be spoken to instead of those to be listened to. So tonight we'll be talking about not necessarily talking for children, but listening to children when they talk, and how important a children and family is, and to be able to understand that from one of the child experts themselves. So I don't violate the rule. I'm going to allow that child, I won't speak for the child, I'll allow the child to speak for herself. Young lady, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, my name is Patrice K. St. John. I'm in first grade. I'm 6 years old.
You're 6 years old. Well, one of the things we want to talk about, young lady, we want to talk about listening to children. We want to talk about how important children are to families and so on. Do you think it's important to listen to children?
Yes, it is.
Why? Why? Look into the camera and tell the audience, speak loudly and tell the audience, why is it important to listen to children?
It's important to listen to your children because they might have something important to say.
And if you don't hear that important thing to say, what might happen if you're not able to listen to them?
They might get sick or something bad might happen.
They might get sick or something bad might happen. Do you believe that that parents listen well to the children?
Some parents.
Some parents do. You think your parents listen well to you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Tell the audience a little more about who you are.
Tell more.
Tell them some more. But you said you are 6 years old, and you tell them that you said that you are at first grade. And what else? Who are your parents?
Dr. St. John and another Dr. St. John.
But in case you haven't figured out, this is my daughter here, 6-year-old Patrice, and I want Patrice to help us understand and help us talk about, and we invite you in the audience to feel free to call us at 312-738-1060 as we talk about the importance of listening to our children. But here's why I think it is important to listen to children. Of course, we heard Patrice said that if children have something important to say, you need to be able to hear them, and if you do not hear them, then something bad might happen. We wonder what that something bad is, but sometimes we actually want you to call in with instances that you may know about why it is important to listen to children, whether you are a person with a childhood that was listened to or not listened to. What is your experience? We want you to call in and let us know. Again, you're looking at the do's and don'ts of parenting, and I'm your host, Dr. Peter K. St. Jean. We are talking to Patrice St. Jean, 6-year-old first grader, about the importance of listening to children. Now, Patrice, tell me that. If you saw a good parent, how would you know what a good parent is?
Well, I know that it's a good parent because, you know, everybody will have a parent. But I know it's a good parent because I see people treating their children the way they want to be treated, and then the children, they just be respectful for the mom and dad, and you just know that they're good because they just hang out with their parents and be good.
So you can see it. So when you're saying that when you see a good parent with a child, you know it just by seeing the way that the parent and the child interacts. Yeah. Now, what is your advice for parents about how it is to get children, what would you advise parents to do to be able to listen to their children?
So you mean, like, what do I do?
Yes. What would you? How if a parent wants to listen to a parent wants a child to talk to them, what should a parent do to help a child to talk to them?
Well, the way it's just you have to ask the child what's wrong, and if they don't tell you, you have to actually ask them. Or sometimes they just don't tell you because you're not ready. They're not ready.
The parent is not ready, or the child is not ready.
Child
The child not ready for what? What are the things?
not ready to tell you.
Oh, like what? What would be? Give me an example of when a child may not be ready to tell a parent something.
Well, example, like if somebody was being mean to them at school or said a comment so bad, they might not tell you because they might, the bully at for example, somebody who said, hey, if you tell your parents this, I'm going to follow you all day or kick your ice cream down on the floor. And then they might not tell you because then the next day they might tell the person and then they might do it the same thing.
Oh, so you're telling us that a child may not want to talk to the parent, not because of something that the parents might do, but because of what the child may be afraid that somebody else may do to the child if the child tells the parents.
Yes.
Wow, that's a very important point. We have our first caller here. Caller, thank you for calling.
My name is Joe. Some things I'm going to tweak a little bit.
Yeah.
Children should have a voice. The parents should listen to them. But at the same token, the parents' voice should always be powerful in terms of whatever. And the child should never be on the same level with the parent. Once the parent made a decision, once they hear certain things, whatever, that should be it. The child should never, ever, ever, ever be on the same level with the parent. And one other thing I'd like to ask, I've been on Dr. George Smith's show. I would love to be on that show in terms of talk about the merits of spanking.
The what? The merits of spanking? All right. I guess you and Dr. Smith are going to have a lot of good talks about spanking. Patrice, do you believe in spanking? Do you know what spanking is?
No, I don't.
No, I got to teach you a few things. That's probably good evidence that I don't spank my child. I mean, what better evidence do you want than that? Well, spanking is when the father may take a belt or the mother may take a belt and hit the child. The child did something wrong, and a way of disciplining the child is to use a belt or use a ruler and beat the child. What do you think about that? Do you think that would be a right way to treat a child?
No, you should just give him a timeout. That's it.
Just a timeout?
Yes.
Right. You think a timeout will do it?
Yes, I think it'll do it. But the next day, if they don't listen, it's just do timeout. And then if they listen, then they'll just be on the ball. Like my teacher, they say, if you don't listen, you won't get to go outside to recess. And they say you get on the ball and you get to go.
What's the ball?
That means you get on track. Like, you know, you're like, if you were for example, if you say go eat breakfast and I say no, and then they'll be out of the track.
Oh.
Like for a train, like if a train went into the neighborhood, and if a car went into the train track, and that'll be out of track.
Okay.
So that's on track.
So you're saying that if a child has something that the child likes to do or the child enjoys doing, if you take that away from the child, then that might be more important than hitting the child? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that'll be more important.
What do you think might be the effects if you hit a child with a belt? What do you think might be the effects on that child?
What does effects mean?
Effects means, well, very good. What does effects mean? I forgot I'm talking to a 6-year-old, but yeah, and increase your vocabulary, right? Effects mean, how would that child feel if you were to beat them with a belt? What do you think?
Well, they might feel disappointed, sad, angry, mad. It just matters how hard you hit them.
Okay. It matters, but they might feel disappointed and feel sad. You know, the caller made an important point, and we'll talk about that later on about children listening to the parents and parents listening to the children listening to the parents and parents listening to the children. We have a next caller. Caller, thank you for calling. Caller, are you there?
Hello?
Yes, caller.
Hi. I was wondering, do you do workshops anywhere? You and your daughter, do you do workshops anywhere for parents?
Well,
and I totally agree with you and your daughter because children need consistency, and my son is 12, and he's has autism, and I've never had to put a hand on my son because there's consequences, like taking a privilege away, like the young lady was saying, and redirection, and a lot of motivation and talking, and he's a very wonderful young man, my son, that when he sees other children acting out, he says they need parenting skills, their parents. So I agree with you and the young lady. You both are very wise people. What a wise young lady you have on the show with you. But I would like to know if you do workshops so I could encourage other parents to come and hear you.
Yes, well, I did workshops at a location, but we were out of funding. I'm in the process of considering to that. But let me give you a telephone number, which is 716-603-0992. 716-603-0992. I do develop workshops. I do peace intelligence workshops, and I'm a criminologist and sociologist. I do parenting. There is a book that I will show soon on screen here that we use from the Fatherhood Initiative. We use this book, a fatherhood handbook that I typically use to do workshops. But call me at this number and we can talk about that. Okay, thank you so much for calling and for the good compliments. Yes, the caller is gone. What do you think about what the caller had to say?
Well, I thought that she said she had a 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the 12-year-old can do the same thing as a 6, but they usually don't pay attention.
Well, she said that her child has autism. You know what autism is?
No.
Some children have different challenges. You know what a challenge is?
Oh, yes.
Like some children may be on wheelchair. Some children may have different problems, right, or different challenges, right? A challenge is a bit of a problem. So her child has a certain illness that sometimes that does not make the child be able to function the way that every other child is functioning. And it's very important because sometimes people bully people who are not able to function as good as other people, you know. So she's saying that it's very important to learn how to deal with different children, because your child may be on a wheelchair, your child may be very smart, your child may be very hyper, your child may be sick. How do you deal with parents like this? And she's asking us to do a workshop. Would you like to do a workshop with me to help people be better parents to their children? She has to think about it. Well, we have another caller. Well, the calls are coming in, and as long as they're coming in, we're going to have them. Caller, thank you so much for calling.
Doctor, I want to make a point.
Yes.
There's some children you never have to spank. But I want to make this point. If you look at all our modern-day presidents, they have been spanked. Dr. Martin Luther King was spanked, and he spanked his children. You look at all the overachievers that was on Dr. Smith's show last quarter. They all was spanked. Spanking is a useful tool if used properly. And I'd like to come on your show and discuss it. It should be used, like I said before. Some children never have to be spanked.
Okay, thank you so much, caller. And also, caller, I know a lot of killers that have been spanked. I know a lot of rapists and a lot of wicked people that have been spanked. So if you're talking about one side of the fence, talk about the other side as well. And I'll respect you a whole lot more. But don't just give it to me one side as if it's one side only. So come straight and let's be clean and talk about both sides of it. Okay, brother? Thanks so much for calling. And give the other people a chance to call. Don't call back, say the same thing, okay? Because other people are trying to get the same line. Thank you so much.